Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Decisions Lunch and Learn hosted by Gregory Goldston from the training team. Let's go over the stuff on the right. We got our Decisions Training YouTube channel. That's going to be the QR code on the very top right there. We've got new videos that get posted there, including new features that get added to the platform, other features that we talk about in depth there, as well as previous Lunch and Learns. So I highly recommend checking that out if you're trying to get some more information or trying to understand just how to use the platform better. Below that, we have the Decisions Solutions Marketplace. This is going to be where you can go to get accelerator projects. These accelerator projects are free to download, and they have certain capabilities as specified in the marketplace in order to perform certain tasks. So if you're looking to reverse engineer it, take parts of it, and implement it into your environment, highly recommend checking that out. And then the last thing is the Decisions Product Roadmap Review. This is a place where you can sign up to get previews on the new features coming to Decisions in the future. You sign up at decisions.com/events, and it signs you up for a series of meetings in which some of the product team members will go over new features coming to the platform. Okay. Well, with all that being said, I see that QA things are already piling up. So I'm going to swap over to my environment. We'll get started early. So I'm going to stop my sharing. And I'm going to start sharing the decision screen. Give me a moment, y'all. And there we go. All right. Time to pull up the QA, pull up the attendees list, and let's go over what it is here. All right. First question's from Dong Mei, which asks, I have a form that needs to be pre-populated with data from some query results. So that makes the form takes about 30 seconds to open. Is there a way to show a running sign or some message to let the user know that it is running? Dong Mei, the answer is yes. Yes, there is. Let me allow you to talk. I'll show you one way that I know for certain you can do it, and then we'll talk about maybe potential other ways if that implementation doesn't work.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm actually going to back out. I know this is forms. We're going to back out of intro to forms, and we're going to go to Thursday LNL over here. Cool. All right. Let's make a form. So you are getting the query results before the form, correct? You're running a query,
Yes.
some sort of fetch query, and you're trying to populate the results in something like advanced data grid or some stuff here.
Yes.
So ADG, you got it. All right. So let's start that over here, and we want to show what the form is loading. If I recall, I know immediately that you can do that with the active form flow, show loading indicator when it's running. However,
Oh, okay.
now this is for an active form flow running. It sounds like you're fetching before
Before
this.
that.
Yeah, so let's figure out exactly how to do that. I'm trying to remember that. So actually, I'm curious. No, actually, that wouldn't work because then it just is going to. Oh, you know what? I'm going to try something. All right, and then we're going to use query flow. Now, I don't have a query that I can execute. Well, actually, I do have a query I can execute. That will take a while. All right, we're going to use fetch entities. We're going to fetch entities on the element registration table, get over 14,000 different results passed in, and then we will try to load the form. Here's my show form. Oh, you know what? I didn't put an outcome path. And then drag that over, save that. Let's see if this works real quick.
Okay.
Oh, that ran a little too fast. All right. Can I don't think it'll show it until after a delay step. So unfortunately, I don't think this delay step is going to work. We'll try it, but let's just give it a go. And yeah, I had a feeling it wasn't going to try and display the form. But I guess they wouldn't be running in the debugger. They would just be straight up running it, right? So if I were to exit and save this, and then run it. So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. You're passing the objects into a report viewer, right?
The form.
Sorry. Not
Yeah,
a report viewer. The
the
your
report, the form. Yeah,
active.
I can run 3 queries before the form open.
Okay.
So that query kind of like take time to run.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got data I need, then populate those data into my form. But that
Is
take
it
time.
in the is the form not showing? Let me ask what you're
Yeah,
saying then.
when I do it, I have flow already. Run query, then open form. But then I run debug or use the URL either way. When
Mm-hmm.
I try to open it, the screen is kind of white. They just do not open anything. Then after a while, then it pop up.
I see. So it's not even the form that is
No,
failing to load in time. It's not the form not populating data in time. It's the fact that you're running a flow that takes a while to execute and the form does not show up.
exactly.
All right.
So I think as a user, they maybe think what's wrong? Why it's not open? I just want to tell them it's running something. Just wait.
Where is it? You know what? I'm going to try something else real quick. First, I'm going to try a potential workaround, and then I'm going to start debugging from there. But let me try something. I'm curious. Oh, I actually want the delay step before that. I don't think this will work, but let me try it. Let me try it. Let's see. Yeah. I might have to figure out where that is in the portal settings because that sounds like a more universal setting for calling a flow than it is setting that up. I see Marvin, I did not see that pre-submitted question. I'll address you immediately afterward. I will take a look into that about the flow structure report. Does the end form session close this? Ha!
So that works.
But I think it might. Let's test it. Let's test it real quick. Not in the debugger, but in a normal run, right?
Mhm.
This isn't exactly a loading indicator. I will check this offline and see if I can figure out how to set that up in the portal settings while it's waiting.
Okay.
Okay. It's not working
Uh,
outside of the debugger. Interesting. Yep.
you have to click close then.
Not exactly.
Still not work. Oh.
Nope. Yeah, that's what I was concerned about. I wasn't sure if it would work because technically end forms are asynchronous, so I didn't know if that would affect the behavior of trying to close it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, just to make sure, when I start checking this offline, I want to make sure I have all the things correct. You're trying to call a flow. You are
Mm.
calling that flow either by URL or by API. How are you calling the flow?
The start from run query. I have run query actually pull the data from outside the decision.
Right,
Then
right. What's kicking off the flow? What makes the flow run to run the queries?
I created a integration query in then I add step to my flow.
Right. What kicks off this process? Does the user click an action? Do they call it? Like, does an API
Uh,
call? Yeah.
I I use the URL like or some right now I sometimes use the debug or yeah from here I create a user it can click it
This one?
configure yeah then click user interface I
User
pass
interface.
the URL that's how I test it yeah
Gotcha. Okay. So you are creating
yeah
a, okay, gotcha. That's what I want to check. So you're calling it via API to display the form to the user, and there's not an indicator between that API call initiating the flow and the form loading. It's just white.
mhm, yeah
Okay, gotcha. I will test this out and I will figure out which setting is required in order for that to function.
oh okay thank you
Yep, absolutely. I will have to test that offline. It's not something I know immediately, and we do have a lot of questions today, so I want to make sure we
yeah
address them all. But now that I
yes
know exactly what the problem is, I should be able to work on something for that.
okay thank you very much then you will email me the solution right
Of course, I'll email you. Yeah, I'll
okay
email you what my findings on it. Even if it's not possible, I'll make sure that I email you so that you are aware
okay
of. Yeah.
got it
Okay.
thank you
Sure thing. Um, Marvin, I do have your pre-submitted question now. I found it, and we're going to address that real quick. So that question is, how can I get a copy of the data source SQL used in the system delivered flow structure report? I need to use that to join against a user defined database table. Okay, I am pretty sure that it is not a table that you can query directly. Let me confirm that. I don't think that's possible. You can run a report, but I don't know exactly if that would function the way that you're looking for. Give me a moment. I'm trying to let you talk. For some reason, all my users disappeared. All my participants are gone. All right, Marvin, you can talk now.
Okay.
Okay. I do not think it is possible. Let me go over here.
Or
So we
if
go
someone knows what tables that information comes from, you know, I guess I could rebuild something.
flow
I
structure.
didn't know what the source was for that. It's got to be stored somewhere.
Right. Hold on, I'm moving some stuff around. Try and get some information here. Let me check something here real quick here on my end. It's not on the screen. I'm just looking up something because I'm pretty sure. Uh,
I have built a report based on that and used that as the data source, so I didn't know if there was a way to get to the query behind it. I'm sure that's got to be a query of some sort behind it somewhere.
um, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's Yeah, this is not the first time this has come up. I don't think
I've asked a couple questions about that flow structure.
I really don't think
I mean, I can send something to support if you think that be the better route, but I just thought I'd ask here. That way, if we came up with a solution, more than one person might benefit from it.
right. I to my knowledge, I've asked this before, other people have asked this before. So far, the answer is that it's not a direct table that you can query. It looks like it is doing a lot more than just fetching some information from a table. I can try to figure out the mechanics of that, but if I go to the flow structure report, right? Let's search that up. It may just be called flow structure, and then I want to search by report.
What I did,
Yes.
I actually created my own. Yeah, there we go. And so you can't view SQL behind. You can't click view SQL. So
Yeah, the data source or flow structure report right here, and then you have some filters applied to it as well for
right.
this. What I tried to do last time is because I'm running a report, I tried to use the global debugger.
Okay.
Yeah, because that should capture right everything that runs. So I'm going to try it again. We'll
Okay.
see if this works, but not optimistic. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not displaying it. And then we can check recently executed queries as well, which will be under actually event viewer. Actually execute a lot of them now, didn't it? That's a lot.
I mean, that report's got to be built somehow. I mean,
right. I'll try to figure out how it's reported. So let me ask this, what's your goal for using it?
all right. We've got our own air handling and we store the flow and step name and all of that kind of stuff into a database.
Okay.
We'd like to get the information that's in that report to generate an advanced data grid based on the errors that we have encountered over time.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
That's the ultimate goal. And I was just trying to at least start with, finding the query, if there is a query, and then join that against our air handling table
I see. Okay.
to get that additional information, the step type and the flow type and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Location, where it's stored and just good information in there. And there may be more information that I'm just not aware of yet. Not having seen the source of that data. And I don't know the system tables well enough to say, hey, oh, go look here.
Well, it's not. This one is, I think, a mix of joins as well. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't
Right.
think this is one
And I
table.
kind of anticipated it was a mix of joins, which I don't have a problem with, at least outside of decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I can try to check what composes this table. I know that one of them has to be it has to be element registration. I know you're putting element registration in there somewhere, right? Because that's going to account for all entities inside of decisions. What I'm trying to figure out is what's the other table that's going to give me a breakdown of the flow steps, because that's also what it covers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because element registration, you're going to have as like a main table that will contain all of your individual flows that you build. And then let's test a query real quick.
I did see something about step in there somewhere. Yeah,
There is
I was doing that very thing maybe earlier today.
flow data delta storage,
Mm,
data size, current step, flow step name, flow step.
Oh, I think that is that the one that has the count, how many times it's been executed? Or at least that's the one I was looking at, but that's not necessarily the right one.
That might be flow execution record.
That might, I don't, that one doesn't sound familiar, but that's okay too.
Delta data. I wonder that's binary serialized right there. Because that's everything that I'm seeing as far as it's related to, is that this is doing some sort of like it's fetching something that's normally binary serialized and handling it in some way. I wonder if it's pulling information from here. I'm not certain. I'm
Okay,
not certain about that. I can ask around more.
okay, that
But
works.
that's my thought, is you're joining a table that's going to contain particular flow steps. It's going to pass that particular flow step data in some way to that element registration, filtered in a way so that you can see all the flows and then what like steps are a part of those, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's some sort of join on that, and
Because
perhaps even more, but yeah.
we're capturing the flow and the step name at the time of the error. So we were just trying, get as much information as we could to help
Right.
support
And I
what.
would recommend the run report if you weren't trying to join it specifically. Because if you're just trying to fetch the information and like filter it in a way or use it, then you can just use the run report step, run that report that's already created, and ta-da, you have your data rows. But that doesn't sound like it's going to function for your use case.
No,
Yeah.
because if I just run that report, it's not going to filter based on the errors that we've encountered.
Right, right. You would need to basically create another report that's on that.
Well, that's kind of what I did with the individual pieces. Whenever
Mhm.
an error happened, I'd run this report to get the information and build that data as part of the email. But from a management perspective, we want to build a dashboard to be able to look through these things. And, the email's gone at that point. So
Right.
that's why
Because
I
with
was hoping to do a join as opposed to run this report for every row, in our error database. That wouldn't be efficient in any shape, form, or fashion.
Right. Yeah, because trying to do it this way would definitely take a little bit longer if you were trying to do like pass out the data rows, do a list
Right,
mapping into your
right.
object, pass it into.
And I did that for the email, but that works great for a one-time use, so to speak. But
Yeah.
when you're talking
Okay.
about to build an advanced data grid, not so much.
Yeah, let me see if I can figure that out. I'll ask around because I have
Okay,
tried figuring this
that's cool.
out. Yeah. Yep. I will
Okay,
let you know what I find.
and go back to Dame's question. Could that possibly be done in a load step and turn the little spinny icon on to say, wait for loading?
A
Just
load
off
step.
on the active form flow.
Well,
I
that's what the thing is, that you're running a step beforehand
right.
that is fetching all the information. You could, in theory, have a query that runs on startup and uses that as a loading indicator. Um,
That's kind of what I was thinking, possibly.
I don't know if this is necessary. I guess the only downside is that you would have to have all your queries inside of one active form flow if the order of execution matters. Um, but
I can talk with her about that. It was just a thought, you know?
yeah, Dong Mei, to kind of go over what's being talked about here, what we would do is on this type, I'm going to use the account type here just for simplicity. How do I
I
make?
know you got a lot of more questions, so I don't want to.
Oh, it's not, this will take just a few minutes. This is not too much of a problem. But what's being talked about here is on your active form flow, you have this run and startup, and then fetch the queries, and then use a set control or just pass it in directly into the data that's inside of the flow in order to set the list of whatever type you're looking for on that control itself. So you just pass this in from whatever you get from your queries here. And this would show a loading indicator because it's an active form flow that's doing this, and the form has
Well, don't
already
you have
shown
to
up.
set that icon? Oh, okay, you've got it set. I did
Yeah.
not see that. Okay,
And run at startup. Yep. Run at
Yes.
startup, show loading indicator.
that's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should function. I don't know if you need to run more processes between those queries. The only downside, and this may not be a downside depending on what you're doing, you can't run async steps, right? So if you have any process that gets kicked off, like a start linked flow async or something inside of your active form flow between queries, it will fail. Yep. That may not be a
Yeah.
problem for what you're doing. I just want to let you know about that caveat.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go on to the next question, which is from Jeff. Is there a way to view dependencies on a specific column from a table integration? Ooh, good question. Let's see here. So you're able to talk. Can we view dependencies on a specific column from a table integration?
Yeah, I run into this quite a bit where we'll need to modify or remove a column from a table. And I was just looking for an easier way to identify everything that needs to be changed with that.
Interesting. I know we can run it on the actual thing itself, but can we run it on a column?
Yeah, typically what we do is we'll just look at dependencies on the table integration itself and then open up every flow and see if that flow just happens to use that column based on the data explorer.
Right.
But I ran into one last week where we had like 37 flows that were using it, and most of them didn't refer to that column. So just looking for an easier way.
Now I'm trying to think about that too, real quick. Let's see if we can make one. I'll do it on the account table again. That's pretty easy. The entity account. There we are. Table definition. Okay. My accounts. All right. Likes that. That's good. Make this a little bigger for everyone. We'll let that create itself, and then let's try something real quick. I'm curious. So don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Wait. Integration. Database. Local connection. My accounts. All right. And then let's just say that we're doing a bulk insert, and you're looking for everything that uses a specific field from this, right? So selective update, LS kind of specify, right? So we want to see specifically if can use portal is being used here. And then let's create something that's a string here, deleted by someone. All right. So that's being utilized by this flow now. Let's just pass this in, save it. Actually, let's pass it into a subflow just to make sure. We'll go in and edit flow 1 and see what that does. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. And then I want to set up input data. Save. Save. Exit. Save. And then make sure that that particular column, I guess we need a fetch, don't we? Okay. Integration. Get all. Okay, and then select type, yeah, local connection, that's exactly right. And then outputs a list of local connection, and we will pull from that for first. And is using the deleted by string. Okay, so now we have another entity that's utilizing that particular thing. I don't think this is going to function. I should call this something very particular to search as well. So I'm going to make one more change to this. So instead of deleted, we are going to go in here and we're going to call this something like some random word that's not going to overlap with anything. You know, account ID is fine. Okay, exit, save. I'm going to check this flow management. I think the flow structure port might be the closest we can get to this. I don't think there would be another way to check dependencies for a particular column outside of this because we're mapping it into a step here, right? So yeah, because that's just going to have the steps. It's not going to have the inputs. Step name, behavior, flow ID, step type. Give me a moment. We're running one of these flow ones. I think it's this one. Yeah, we're going to rename this. What's another name that I'm sure I'm not using the word soup in here anywhere, so we're going to put soup. And then we can go back to that structure report, flow structure. I'm going to look for soup. There should be a flow called soup. It has default flow behavior, flow ID. There are two flow behaviors, as a start step and an end step. That's what I was thinking. I don't think it's going to give dependencies for particular columns. I can ask, I'm going to say doubtful, but let me guess. Let me at least check what I see when I see dependencies here. Local
Also,
connection.
like,
Yes.
to be consistent with the last questioner, I'm pretty versed in the database. So if there's if you can give me like a table that might store that.
A table that would store the specific mapped column.
Yeah.
Where do we keep input mappings?
Although I feel like that actually might be in the JSON that stores the flow structure, which is sort of hard to mine, but
that's what I'm wondering as well, if that would be something that's even just fetchable in a singular column. I think I'm gonna have to ask because I'm not sure.
okay.
Yeah. Let me. So that's that's three questions I have to ask about. Loading indicator. We showed Dongmei how to potentially do another workaround to that, but as far as how to set that up, and then Marvin, we'll see if we can query that flow structure report, and then we'll see about the other one. Vitali, it looks like you got something to add on this real quick. I'll let you talk if you've got some insight.
I don't believe that is stored somewhere in the database. I do believe it's stored in the entity itself. So when you export, when you have that base64, so those are the structures on which steps to use and how to map them. So
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. In that case, yeah, you wouldn't be able to check dependencies if it was stored in that way.
back in the time, you used to have something that called change data. So basically it was on a folder, so you can right click on the folder and say change data. It was super dangerous. You remove that. It was super dangerous, but I mean, what I mean, when you try to change some data, let's say deleted by, it will show you every places where it was connected to.
Okay, gotcha.
But you removed that because it was too dangerous to do that.
Possibly. I did not I've only been here so long, but yeah, I can take a look to see if there is a safe way to do that, Jeff, as far as finding that particular column dependency.
I do know that you can fetch flow inputs. So you can say fetch all flows where this input is something, but if you name it differently, it will not work.
I was gonna say, yeah, you'd be able to check the inputs, but that wouldn't be a guarantee that you would know it comes from that column.
Right.
Unless you
Okay.
specifically named each input to just handle that column, then that could be done.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll ask. I'll definitely, I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'll ask. Okay. We do have another question from Patty. I want to use a label to set up some messages based on the flow. However, I'm not able to use merge text. It's not available in the property. Oh, I'll show you how to do that easily. Okay. Let me unmute you here. All right. So you're just talking about a label on a form, right?
Yeah, my question is easy, but triggered by something, the message keep changing based on the flow, different path. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. So what you can do is,
label.
yep, we just put in a label over here, and
Mhm.
then I'll just call this text from flow. And then once you
Mhm.
do that, you're going to hit text from data name.
Text from data name.
Yep, you see this
Yeah,
little
I'm not
checkbox up
sure.
here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I checked that one. Let me take a look right now. Okay, just bear with me, okay? Let me open mine. What's this one here? My spec form, the text message. Oh, I didn't check that. So
Yep.
text from data name.
That's right. Do text from data name, exit out
Okay.
of this, and then we'll create a flow to use it, display merge.
Okay.
And then
I need to give a name, right?
that's right. You need to give a data name
Yeah.
to it. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. You can
Oh,
call it
that's
whatever you
fine.
want. And
Okay.
then after that, you have the option to input whatever you want. You can use merge text, merge
Right.
HTML.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do anything in
That's
that.
where I missed because I didn't tick that. I wouldn't see, the option to text to put in any message. Okay. Okay.
Yep,
I'll try that. Thank you.
absolutely.
Okay.
All right, cool. Glad we can answer a question fully on call. So that's nice. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. Oh, I already answered that for you, Marvin. So let me check that box. And then no. Hello, is there a way to assign assignments to external users with sending them a URL of an assignment so they can approve or reject it? Quick question. Let me allow you to talk to make sure I understand what you're saying about external users. Are you talking about people who do not have an account in Decisions?
Yes, that's correct. We have some DMZ accounts in our decisions, but they only have network ID, but not an email. But their email is external. So we're trying to figure out how can we assign the assignments to them because their account technically doesn't exist in decisions.
Right. Let me confirm. I'm pretty sure it's assigned. I think that's through assigned to guests. Let me check that configuration, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're looking for. Let me check something real quick. Yep, that's exactly what you're going to be doing is working with assign to guest. And that will allow for the assignments to be sent to non-portal users externally in order for them to complete that task. Now, something I want to mention about this, because it's a guest account, you're not able to track who completed the assignment in decisions in this way because they don't have an account in decisions to track it against. The way that you would need to capture that somewhere inside of the form where they would have to input their name or email or something. That would have to be captured in data that is not metadata to the entity assignment table. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Mhm.
Just so this is where I'm having trouble. How do I know? So, for example, I'm going to open the form up to people, right? How do I know to who to assign? Do I create each guest account, right? Like I have to create it manually by myself?
You do not. You enable the guest account that gets created in decisions and it
Okay.
completes the assignment as that guest account for every single user that is sent it in that way. So there's a
So-
guest account right
Mhm.
now. You'll see
Yes.
is active is set to false.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You will need to enable that guest account in order for this functionality to work. And
Gotcha.
then
So-
you can use assign to guest and have
Okay.
certain users that are basically completing the assignment as a guest. And that will show those results of those completions inside of the entity assignment table. So let me show you what I'm talking about real
Okay.
quick here. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to query editor and I'm going to query
Mhm.
the entity assignment table.
Mhm.
Run. This shows all pending or completed assignments inside of the decisions environment. Okay. Every assignment gets its own unique ID, when its state was last changed, and a lot of other information. Going over here to, here we go. All assignments. This will say guest instead. No matter who you send it to externally, it will track it as a guest assignment completing it. That guest, whoever you send it to, maybe via URL or email or something, right, is going to put in their information. The assignment will get completed and captured. You still have all of the data that they would put in from the flow, right? So if you had, for example, the standard purchase request form, even if it was signed out by the guest, all the information they put in could be captured in a data structure. So you would have all that information saved. If you wanted to know who completed what, you would need to make sure that they fill out their email, name, or some sort of unique identifier to get that information. It will not be captured automatically here.
Gotcha. That makes
Yep.
sense. It's not getting created. You just need to, like, their account is not getting created because they're just using guest. Is that clear?
That is exactly right.
Okay.
They are
Okay.
all acting as an anonymous user on the same account. Each individual completion of an assignment will create a new row here. It's not one
Mhm.
assignment that keeps getting updated.
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's how that will function. I just put inside of the chat a link to the documentation on how to set this up. There are a few steps that need to be followed for it.
Got it. Just one thing. So, for example, if I have a group of people, right? Like you
Mhm.
create groups and then decisions,
Yes.
and I want to assign, and all of the people in that group are external users. How would that work? Would
How that would not work because you can't
Mhm.
have a group of users in decisions that also don't have a decisions account.
Oh, because it's external. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a silly question. I'm sorry, that makes sense.
No, you're good. You're good. It's not a problem. If you're looking for something like that, where you're trying to capture that information, the closest thing, I'll have to confirm this. The closest thing I would think of is security groups that you set up inside of an identity provider, like an SSO provider. But I think even
Mhm.
that, yeah, that would still even create its own group in decisions. So I don't think that would work either, because then you're having them log into the portal. Yeah. Yeah, you would need to have some sort of logic for emails, maybe sourced in an external database that says, hey, call my system, see which, and fetch criteria of all users where group equals so and so, right? Get those emails and send them out appropriately.
Got it. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Cool. All right, we still have a little bit more time, and that was the last question. So I'm gonna spend this mostly making sure I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's on the previous questions, just to make sure we can get as much information to you guys as possible. So as far as that query flow, Dongmei's got something to work with. Vitali, yes, you can unmute yourself. What you got?
For Manal, so I've done something like that, but because they are sharing account, if you steal the URL to the assignment, that means that somebody else will complete the assignment, and that's not good. So what I've done, when they click that URL, first form that I pop up, I would say confirm your email, and because I know which email I send that assignment to, I can check if that's the right person, if they know at least their email address. So it's not attached to the assignment, but it's kind of like I know where I send email for this assignment to, if that helps.
So, Manal, what he's saying as far as because you're given unique URLs, he's saying to make sure that one user cannot complete the assignment through by just taking another URL, they would have to verify their email, and then it would use some logic inside of the flow designer in order to assess whether that was the email that the URL was sent to. So, like a security measure, it's one of those additional things that you can add to your logic if you're trying to add some additional security to who gets assigned that external assignment.
Gotcha. I definitely noted that. Thank you.
Yep, appreciate the insight, Vitali. Can an active form flow set the text of a label? Yes, DeChaco, that absolutely. Let me allow you to talk. Yep, let's go back to our same one over here. Where was it? How to change text. Okay, so this right now gets text from a data name, and if it's a data name, we can change it with an active form flow because we can always pull, data from elsewhere over here. But anyways, let's create an active form flow. I'm going to hit change text. We're going to not run it at startup. We're going to make it run on a trigger. We'll create one in just a moment. Let's do a set control value over here. And obviously, this doesn't have to be a constant. You can pull this from wherever and add more logic. I just want to show this run real quick. Form data, where is my text from flow label? And then we can actually set the value on it over here, right? Text from flow. I'm just going to set it as a constant to altered text. That's what we'll say right now. Save this, exit, save this, event button, because that's the easiest way to just kick something off to demonstrate. Raise event over here, change value, event button triggers it. Click, done, save, merge. All right. And then the last thing we want is, I think it was display merge over here. I'm going to change this back to in session. Text from flow is going to be a constant, which is original text. And then if we run this over here, debug, original text, click this, changes to altered text, just like that.
Nice. Okay. Great.
Yep. If that was too fast, let me know. I'll go back and show you anything.
I'll watch it tonight in slow motion.
Can you pass constants to a merge text step? A merge text step. Marvin, you should be able to unmute yourself still. What do you mean by that?
I'm using a text merge, and I was hoping to get access to some constants I have predefined.
Oh, you mean project level constants or global level
constants? Yes, project level constants.
Oh, you should have access to that already.
I didn't. I was just sitting here piddling with it, and I didn't, because all I see on the left-hand side is the items that I passed in and calculated fields.
Calculated fields. Are you talking about in the report designer?
No, on an actual merge text step within a flow.
Okay, so let's let's go inside of that. So we have display merge. And over in the Data Explorer, you see your constants and your flow data.
Yeah, there it's fine.
All right, so you see it here, but when you go to the merge text, you only
an actual step. The merge text step.
merge text step.
Yeah, I believe. It's a text merge, and it uses the oh, what do you call it? I'm trying to get to the information.
Pickle create text merge, I guess.
Yes,
First one.
yes,
This one?
thank you. That's it.
You're using this step.
Yes,
You're creating it, and you get a result here.
right.
And
But
you're not.
inside that, I do not see the flow information.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All
Any of
right.
the flow information, just the pieces that I set. There you go.
I see what you're saying. So if we were to configure input data over here, let's say I call this I'm going to call this flow count real quick.
Sure.
Flow count would be accessible over here, and then over inside of your flow, you would just pass that in right from here.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right. It's similar. I'm not sure why you're not seeing flow data specifically, but you can pass in your project constants in this way.
All right.
Yeah, so
Show me how to do that, because I don't see them. I've got too many to identify each one of them. I was hoping maybe to pass the upper layer, the collection, if you want to call it that.
okay.
What if you define that input data of type flow data instead of the flow account inside of that, or constants,
I
whatever?
see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would actually include my constants, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead and add another one that's of type flow data.
Yeah, sure thing. And then you could pass in, yeah, flow data over here. And then you should be able to just pass it in directly that way.
Don't.
Flow data
And
holder.
I think I've tried to do this before.
Well, you're
Flow
just looking
data
for
itself
constants,
is
right?
you can't reference it. I mean, not like that.
Right. So hold on. Let me create a project constant first and just compare that data type, because you're trying to pass in constants, not flow data, right?
Correct.
Okay, so let's go over
But
here
I've
to
got too many
configuration.
of them that I really didn't want to have to. I mean, I can, but
Let's figure that out. All right, so constant 1.
and I wish that didn't default to password all the time.
That would be nice. I'm with you on that.
I mean, I never use. I mean, how many times we actually use password?
Actually, you'd be surprised.
I mean, I'm sure it's used. I don't get. I mean, percentage wise, password versus everything else in that list.
A lot of times it's because it's designed to be pushed to higher environments and utilize certain like dev credentials versus prod credentials versus UAT credentials for API calls. That's the reason it's so high.
Gregory, can you define for the text merge a input type of constant data
For the text merge, sure, yeah.
as an input?
Yeah, we're gonna go back over there for a moment. Now that we have 2 things to pull from, let's go back to.
You might need to.
No, the input type. Not,
Yeah.
So this is a string, but can you change it to constant data?
Yeah, I was gonna do that to try and take it. I want to see what this data type was right here, constant data.
You might need to connect the start to it, because
I will.
A beginning.
Oh no, I will. I'm just trying to make
Okay.
sure that's what I was trying to check, was whatever this was called, constant data.
No.
Lovely. We're gonna
So
just
it's not
scroll through
accessible.
constant.
Well, it probably won't be unless you connect it to the start step.
No. It's just a
No,
type. It doesn't.
it's the
Okay.
data type. Yeah, the data type's not showing up. That's what it is. It's not letting us pull in constant data. Oh, that's awesome. You know what?
Whee!
Is
Yeah, you
there,
know what?
sorry to interrupt, is
No, what
there
you
a
got?
reason that you need to use the text merge designer as opposed to maybe a create data step with the text merge editor?
All right, ask that question again. I'm not sure I quite
So,
followed.
so no, you're good. This what we were just in was our text merge designer. There's other ways that we can access a merge text editor to be able to utilize the flow data better. You don't even need to do a type here, I don't
It can
think.
just be string, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then
Or even on whatever you're trying to pull in your
Mhm.
project constant information from. Like if you go to here, yeah, merge text.
oh
You
right,
just
right.
yeah,
merge
just go to
text,
merge
yeah.
text. So this right here is a merge text editor. You don't have the rich text stuff. I think the merge
Well,
HTML
that's the
might.
issue is I need the rich text.
Okay.
Or the HTML text, because I'm ultimately going to take the output and shove it into a PDF.
Yeah. So do merge HTML and then here you have it. So I don't know if
You
this
would
might
have
help.
flow data, but you wouldn't necessarily.
You
or-
have projects, yep, because
Yeah.
this is directly within the flow itself. So this is the merge text editor on the mapping of a step. And then the merge HTML has the rich text editor information. So this might be a workaround.
As opposed to using the step itself, just use the
Yeah.
create data step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure I was following the suggestion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's create data step, set your type to string, merge HTML as the input type, and then you have access to it at the flow level.
Okay. I'll give that a whirl and see what happens. Thank you much.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate the assist. Thank you.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Well, that is all the questions that we have now. So thank you all very much for attending. Looking forward to seeing you all next week. One of us will be leading it then. So have a good rest of your weekend, y'all.